right, it looks like we are live. Okay, let me float this on top. Okay, let's come back to this. All right, let's begin with, there's been a few people that have reached out to me detailing some issues that they're having copying the MOAS wealth management sheet. I will be putting more detailed instructions here on the sheet itself, and then I'll also just give a demo on what exactly needs to be done. All right. Old Man Jiu-Jitsu, good afternoon. Okay, let's get started. So the instruction is copy the sheet so you can start playing around with it. So let's add some rows below for some more detailed instructions. So step one is in the top left, click file. And I'm also going to make sure that this is going to be mobile. These instructions are going to be mobile friendly too. So let me open up my Sheets app. Okay, details. Save as Excel. Send a copy. Okay. So, this will be desktop setup instructions. Desktop setup. Let me take this back down to 10. So for desktop setup, step one is you would click File in the top left of the screen below the title. 2. You click Make a Copy. Hello, what's happening? Oh, it's just not showing up. That's weird. Okay. 2. Click Make a Copy. And let me go to, who am I editing this as? This is as MarbleFoxStudios.com. And, oh, I'm viewing this as somebody else. Let me make sure, yeah, this is the copy. I already have, let me delete this. And empty my trash. Okay, new version of Java is available. Let's install that. Need that for work. All right. Oh, come on. Install. Okay. We'll wait for that and come back to my drive. So here, when you click Make a Copy, what it will do is come to Copy Document. So name the copy. I actually would need to open this. So, oh, that's wealth management. A modal will appear. Modal will appear. Name the copy whatever you'd like. And let's add a few more rows for instructions. And then select the folder in your Google Drive that you want to store this in, store the copy in. Okay, and share it with the same people, copy comments, and I don't think these are necessary to do. Yeah, not necessary, but at that point you would click OK. So 5, click OK. And when you click OK, looks like it will open your copy. Your copy will automatically be opened for you. Copy will automatically be opened for you, and at this point you should be able to begin edits. Okay, so that should take care of desktop setup. Let's do mobile setup. And let's copy the formatting. Mobile setup, step 1. Okay, so I need to figure out how to do this from the very beginning on mobile, so I need to go back through my tweets to find a link. I need to go pretty far back. Even farther. Come on. Here we go. Alright, so let's go to docs.google.com. Okay. So open the Google Sheets app. So open the shared link. You should be prompted to edit with the Sheets app, and that's what that should look like. It's not very good resolution, I'm sorry, but yeah. So open the shared link. You should be prompted to edit with the Sheets app. Click or press Get the App. So we're going to press Get the App. Is it not working? Okay, there we go. Get the app. Okay, so yeah, that works. So let me go to the actual app. And it looks like there's an update for the app. And come on. All right. Old Man Jiu-Jitsu, do you have a WMP template one could download? Old Man Jiu-Jitsu, I am not certain what WMP stands for. I'm getting Windows Media Player. Let me know if it's something else. Okay, so Google Sheets. This opens Google Sheets. Come on, close that. Last opened by me. Okay. So open the shared link, and then, oh, I am typing in the wrong thing, the wrong window. There we go. So step 2 on mobile is you would open the Google Sheets app. And step 3, I wonder, it's shared with me, offline, Google Drive, search, no. Okay, so under last opened by me, last opened by me, locate the locate this template sheet. Oh, Wealth Management Powersheet, thank you. Yes, Old Man Jiu-Jitsu. Let me share the, I'm dropping the link to the template inside the chat right now. There you go. All right, so locate this template sheet. And then after it's been located, click the 3 dots to the right of the row. Old Man Jiu-Jitsu, you are welcome. Click 3 dots to the right of the row. And step 5, scroll down and click, or press, because it's mobile, and press make a copy. Note, do not press save as Excel, because this doesn't work in Excel. Save as Excel, or at least I'm not sure if it works in Excel. I don't have Excel, so do not press save as Excel, because yeah, it's completely different. Or add shortcut to Drive. Make sure it's make a copy. And make a copy on the app, at least on the iOS app, is with a lowercase c, so I'm being very, very particular about this to make sure that this can't be done incorrectly. So when I make a copy, so when you click make a copy on mobile, makes a copy, and it automatically opens it. At this point, the app will close the menu. A box will appear saying making a copy with a spinner. On success, it will open the copy for you. All right, and that should be everything you need to do for mobile setup. So let me just need to remove my copies. Okay. And there we go. So those are the detailed instructions. I hope that answers all your questions regarding setup. And this row is now redundant, so we can get rid of it. All right. So if anybody else has questions regarding setup, just let me know. Let me remove my, actually, no, I do want to remove this copy for now. All right, close that. So now I'm just here in one place. So if anybody has any additional questions regarding this, feel free to direct message me on Twitter, and or you can drop questions in the chat, or at the top of the chat I have our Discord pinned, and if you want to chat live person to person, it's a lot more natural for me to do it that way. And I can really quickly answer your questions there, because I can understand the full context if we join a voice call on our Discord, so feel free to join there. All right, Old Man Jiu-Jitsu, much appreciated. Thanks for taking the time to do this. You are welcome. Let's see, that would be Miss Irish Eyes. Thank you, appreciate you, and I appreciate you. All right, okay, so let's go on to update what we're currently working on, the template to version 1.5. Let's do it. Let's make some improvements. So first improvement I would need to make here is I added this earlier today. This is just a link that I would recommend everybody read to really make the most out of their exit strategy. And this article is called Infinity War: The Final Exit DD Compilation. Very, very good read. I think I spelled compilation wrong. I did. There we go. So yeah, the Final Exit DD compilation. I actually will probably, in version 2 of this Powersheet, I'll actually put like all the content in along with this sheet, so you don't have to go to a separate website to see it. But it's a very good read. It essentially just lets you know, because nobody knows what this is going to peak at, and so this article speculates on what key indicators to look for to know if we've hit the peak, or if we're before the peak, we've hit it, or we're past it. So I would strongly recommend that everybody takes a read, because the more you know and the more you expect about how this is all going to work, the more calm that you're going to be, and the more logical decisions that you'll be able to make, which is just good for you, good for your family, and good for your community. All right, so fix that up. Now, let me come back to my spreadsheets. So with the wealth planner, state tax calculator. So the calculator that is currently on this sheet only accounts for federal income taxes. And it does not account for state taxes. So we are going to add that. Let's see, no questions yet. So we'll just continue. At this point, we're just going to be editing sheets. So if editing spreadsheets isn't really your jam and you find it kind of boring, then that's kind of where we're going to be going to. But as I always say on every stream, we're all in the same car. I'm just the one driving. I've got a default location that I'm going to, but if you guys want to take this car to a different destination, just let me know and we'll drive there. So, so here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna start by creating a new sheet for state tax. And oh boy, okay. So I guess first thing I need to get is just a solid list of all the states. So a way to get that quickly would be comma separated list of states. This is what I want. No, because it'd be better if I actually just did the full names of the states, because that way there's no confusion there. Right, so now what we are going to do is I want to make a drop down here. So I'm going to go to data, data validation, and because list from arrange, list of items, if I paste that in, then I can save, and voila, list of states in a drop down inside of a Google Sheet. So I'm in Utah, so that's where I'm going to start with, because that's going to be my best frame of reference. So if I have Utah selected, what I want to do is get Utah capital gains tax. States and trust, Social Security, miscellaneous. And is this? So it said state of Utah on the link, but I'm not seeing Utah anywhere here. Oh, it's because this company just operates out of Utah. That makes sense. So let's do capital gains. There we are. Okay, so maximum capital gains tax rate for taxpayers with income up 0% to $40,400 for single filers, and maximum capital gains tax for taxpayers with income above, and then maximum capital gains tax for taxpayers with income above for single filers, and that for married filing jointly. Capital gains for unrecaptured SEC 1250 gains on collectibles. I don't know what these are. So it looks like there's just three brackets. Yeah, there's just 3 brackets here. So we will copy this, take this back to the state tax, and okay, and so this is, let me move this over here. Oh boy. This is going to be a really gross sheet, but we will make it work. So, Utah capital gains tax bracket. Okay, let's copy that. Okay, so, and this, I guess we also need another drop down for data validation, list of items, and we want single or married filing jointly. All right. Let's start with that. Add another row up here. and we can remove the data validation from those. Oh, format, or data validation, remove validation. There we go. This would be state of residence, and this would be tax filing status. This is really crude right now. We're gonna make it look pretty later, but the important thing is that we get the data right. So that's what we're gonna do. So Utah capital gains tax bracket. Let me move this down here. And it doesn't look like it copied. Let me move that over there. And then here, oh, yep, didn't copy that, so it's 20%. All right, oh boy. That's really gross. Okay. So we would have yeah, we would need, I would need to build out two separate brackets here. So I've got, so Utah capital gains tax bracket, we'll start with just the single first. Single tax status with income from 0 to, and how did I do it here? Rate, min, max, diff. Okay. So I have rate, min, max, diff. So the rate here is 0. The minimum income is $0 per year. The max is up to, does that include? Yes, it does include. So 40,400, and then for single filers, and then the rate is 15%. Let me 0.15. It's 15% for a minimum of 40401 to a max of 445,850, and then we have a rate of 20% for. Sorry about that noise. I've got people finishing my basement right now. The minimum here would be 445,851, and there is no max. So let's see. And so we just put dashes there. So dash, dash. Okay, and then the difference formula is literally just C2 minus B2. So max minus min. So the diff is equal to the max minus the min. Drag that down to get the F5 minus E5, and then it doesn't matter there. Now let's format this correctly. Format, number, currency. And this is percentage. This is 20%. There we go. All right, and we can decrease the decimal places to make it look very clean. And that is our single tax bracket there. Let me see. And yeah, okay, so all my formulas are in here, but let me now get married filing jointly, and we'll build out a separate table for them. Rate, min, max, diff. Okay, so these numbers is 808 0, and which would make this 80801, and this number would then be, hello, oh, above, okay, and this number would then be 501600, and which would make this 501601, yes, okay, and tax rate is 20% there, and get rid of the formatting there. And what we will do is, just so we don't forget, we will turn this into a link so we remember where we got our data from, so we can prove it, and if it's incorrect we can be corrected. Because let's just make sure 2021 tax rates, capital gains, okay, yeah, okay. All right, now let's think of married filing jointly. I'm just trying to think of a way to replicate this so that so our info, we're actually just going to keep separate here, and this will be called Utah because we want to be able to easily match this to whatever it needs to be. So rate, min, max, diff. Okay, I think I know how to structure this. So let me move this back up to here because I want to structure this as just a one-to-one relationship table, so that way we can easily just fill it, switch out what goes inside this table based on what's selected here. So what we would have is we would have state. So we would have a column called state, a column called tax filing status, a column called rate, a column called min, a column called max, and a column called diff. All right, and now here, so we have, so for each rate, so essentially this is for each rate is what we are looking for. So each rate for each tax filing status. So we have 0, 15, 20%, and also 0, 15, 20%. And the tax filing status is single, 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 married, filing, and this has to match single, because this has to match what is going to go in here. So we want capital S for single, and then married, filing jointly, and we can copy this down by clicking and holding on this blue box here, dragging it down, boom, there we go, copied. So we have our rate, and then we have our min, our max, and our diff. So this just goes right here. This goes there, and this comes here. Same thing, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And you'll see where I'm going with this in just a second. And then the state here is Utah, Utah, Utah. I can just copy by dragging down. All right. Oh, so min max diff, min max diff, min max diff. I accidentally copied in the rate here. Yep, and there we go. Okay, that is accurate now. So now I can get rid of this, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to its own thing. So this would be state tax. Table and state tax filing status rate min max diff. Okay, and now what we're going to do is you're going to see some magic about to be worked here if you're new to spreadsheets. It's going to be amazing. Let's keep this here. So we have the rate min max diff, state tax bracket, state tax data. Okay, so here what we are going to do is the rate is going to be a filter, and the range that we want to filter is the state tax data, and actually I'll show you an easy way to do this. So if I have filter, it's asking for the range of what we want to, so the data that we want to filter. So we can go over here to the state tax data. You can see that it's still selected, and the data we want to get is the rate itself. So we are going to select the entire rate column. The way we do that is when you are referencing a tab, or technically it's called a sheet in Google Sheets terminology. If the name of the sheet has spaces in it, you need to reference it by putting it inside of single quotation marks. The exclamation point means that hey, what came before this, whatever is inside of the single quotation marks, is the name of a sheet, and so it knows it's referencing this specific sheet. And then you just put down the range that you want to grab. So we want to start with C2 because we don't want to grab the column header, but we want to make sure that we grab everything in this row. And since there can be who knows how many rows, instead you can just specify C, and it will select the entire row down to the last one. So let's say if I put C30, you can see here it stops at 30. If we go to if we change that to 31 or 34, so you can see it. No. 33, 34, you see it stops. But if you just leave it at C, it will select the remainder of the column. So that's the data we want to get. And then what we want to filter it by is we want to filter this where the state tax data, and we want to filter it by the state that is selected by the user. So that would be A2 through A is equal to whatever is selected inside of A2 on the sheet where the formula is. But we also want to make sure that it's filtered by the tax filing status. So we would want to filter it where the tax filing status, so we enter in the name of the sheet inside of single quotation marks, state tax data, end quotation mark, put the exclamation point to signify that we're pointing to an actual sheet. And the tax filing status is in column B, but we don't want the column header, so we start with row 2, and then we go through, and to to signify the end of the range, you put a colon, and then the remainder of column B. That's what we want. But we want it where it is equal to the state tax bracket and whatever is selected for the tax filing status, which would be B2. Hit enter, and boom, it automatically populates our rates for us. And let's format this entire column so it formats it as percentages. And that's all formatted appropriately there. And let's decrease our decimal points. And now we are going to do the same thing for the min, the max, and the diff. And what we can do is you can to copy the formulas over. You can click and hold on this blue box in the bottom right corner of the selected formula, and you can drag it over to drag over the formulas. But now we need to make sure that it's pointing to the right things. So so the min is state tax data D2 through D, is that correct? So the min is D2 through D. State tax, let's see, where the state tax data B2 through B. Okay, so here is something important to note and a learning moment here. So our filters, we want to lock the range on these filters when we drag over, because when you drag it over, it automatically adjusts, like so C becomes D, A becomes B, and then B becomes C. You can see that right here. What we want it to do when we drag over the formula is we do want C to turn into D, because the data we want to grab is in the same order as these columns, but the filters will remain the same. The filter that we're looking for in the state should always reference column A. The tax filing status should always reference column B on this sheet, and the values that they're grabbing on here should also remain the same. So to lock a range, you put $ before everything. So a $ before a letter locks the column, and a $ before the number locks the row. So if you have a locked column and a locked row, that is a locked cell specifically. So we're going to do the same thing for A2 here, and lock this range by putting $ in front of all of everything we need to be locked. Hit return. And now when we drag this over, everything fills out for us. So we don't have any other states of residence pulled up. The only thing that's different to test to see if this works is the tax filing status. So the tax filing status is currently married filing jointly. If we change this to single, boom, it updates it automatically. So that will greatly help to simplify where we can plug these formulas in. All right. Okay. I'm checking the chat, Discord, and Twitter to make sure I don't have like any questions here. So, all right. Okay, let's continue. All right, so now all we need to do now is we just need to fill in the data for, we just need to go in and manually fill in data for each state. It's gonna be gross. Okay, so I'm going to create another sheet, and I'm going to call this sources. And we're going to go back to our state tax bracket, take this link that we have, and we're going to put that there. So, because that way we can just have one place where we dump all of our sources in case anybody's curious about where we're getting our data from. Okay. Ooh. And we can decrease the rate. No, because who knows, different states might have weird rates. Okay. And that considered, let's also add those back into here. All right, so I don't think we're actually going to need any of these extra columns ever. And I don't think there would ever be more than 30 different brackets inside for any state. So we're going to simplify this so we can see the entire thing in one view. Let me see if I can actually simplify this any further to make it look good. So state of residence. No, I think this is as simple as I can make it. But what we can do is we can freeze the current row, and we can add some conditional formatting, or sorry, not conditional formatting. We want to add alternating colors to make it look like a pretty table. And we'll just stick with that for now. Make those bold to indicate that they are headers. We will give those the gray appearance. And these are headers as well. Okay, let's continue. So, yeah, okay, at this point it's just filling out this table. So for the 3 people I got watching this video right now, what states do you live in? I want to make sure that I'm taking care of our live viewers first. So throw it in the chat what state you want me to do next, because there's a lot. I'm eventually going to get around to all of them, but not today. And just to make sure, if you guys can hear me all right, I'm going to put that in the chat. Okay, perfect. You guys can hear me. So Miss Irish Eyes, Connecticut. Let's do that. So Connecticut, capital gains. Portal, connecticut.gov. That is, I would say, okay, so what are the tax rates? An individual's net capital gains are taxed at the rate of 7%. Dividends and interest income are taxed at a rate. Adjusted gross income. Well, that's easy, 7%. That makes it really, really easy. For some reason, like, I don't know, when it comes to government, I distrust it if it's really simple. I'm just like, no, there's no way that it can be that simple. If it is, that's great. Oh, capital gains tax rates by state. This actually might be exactly what we're looking for. These are all flat rates though, so maybe I don't trust that. So yeah, let's just go with Connecticut.gov's website. All right. Dividends and interest income. Dividends, interest income, but we're not dealing with dividends and interest income on this sheet. This sheet is just like a one-time capital gains tax, so let's do that. Okay, so state tax data, we have Connecticut, and tax filing status, single. Oh, and did it say just for single? And individuals, net capital gains are taxed at a rate of 7%. What about married filing jointly? Married? No. 7%. Okay. Okay, so tax filing status, single, 7%. Geez, Connecticut, lucky. Like, look at those tax rates for Utah. And Utah's a conservative state that supposedly hates taxes. Oh, that gives me a hoot. All right, so the min, is 0, 0, or it's actually just not, there is no min, it's just not applicable. It's just a flat rate of 7% is what it looks like. So single, but we also want to do married filing jointly. There we go. So now we come to the state tax bracket and we select Connecticut, rate 7%. There we go, flat, even. It's perfect. It's simple. All right, let me color that in. That looks a bit better. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Drop what state that you're in the chat, so we can start filling out our state tax data. You're welcome, Miss Irish Eyes. If not, I'll just continue. So let's just do Alabama. Capital gains tax. All right. Alabama allows taxpayers to deduct federal income taxes from their state taxable income. Combined rate accounts for federal, state, and local tax rates on capital gains income. The 3.8% surtax on capital gains and the marginal effect of P's limitations, which results in a tax rate increase of 1.8%. That seemed a bit complex. Additional state income tax. Let me come back to here. Wait, what's this? Oh, rank. Oh, because this is just one. 5%, is that what? And this is from it's from the same website. Capital gains tax calculator. I don't want, okay. No, I just, okay, so, which results in a tax rate increase of 1.8. So it looks like there is just I would say 3.8 for Alabama, so we're gonna go with that. Oh, state rate, there we go, okay. Combined rate. Okay, so yeah, so actually, I think I can just port this all over. I just find it interesting that Utah has different brackets for capital gains. That's pretty complex. 4.95%. Hold on, I'm questioning this now. Let me go back to Utah capital gains tax. Because Butler tax, like what's Butler tax? Like, Butler tax and accounting, welcome, about us. Because I don't want it from something there. I would want it from incometax.utah.gov. Let's see what the official source says. You may claim a credit for a short-term and long-term capital gain on a transaction or claim a credit to buy stock. You did not have ownership interest. But what's the rate? Capital. let's go back to this 1031 exchange thing. Go to About Us, make sure that the data is verifiable. Make real estate exchanges. Yeah, what's a 1031 in the first place? Let's check that. What is a 1031? Investopedia. And in real estate, is the swap of one investment property. So yeah, it looks like that real estate investing guide. Maybe Investopedia in general will have stuff like state capital gains. Because yeah, we want to make sure that we have the right information before we put in all the work. Capital gains tax 101. Okay. Long-term versus short-term capital gains. That's federal. This is also federal. Capital gains and state taxes. Whether you also have to pay capital gains to the state depends on where you live. Some states also tax capital gains, while others have no capital gains taxes or favorable treatment of them. The following states have no income taxes and therefore no capital gains taxes. All right, Colorado, Nevada, and New Mexico do not tax capital gains. Montana has a credit to offset part of any capital gains tax. Okay, is there a list of rates I can find? Investment real estate, investment exceptions, advantages of long-term capital gains, capital gains tax 101. Stocks, bonds, business inventory, short-term versus long-term. Examples, capital gains rates, what you'll owe. Watch your holding periods, bottom line. Okay, well, this is actually, what we have here is actually useful information as we go forward. So, so yeah, that considered 1031 stocks. So I just want to make sure that 1031s apply. Can you do a 1031 exchange with, oh, okay. So a 1031 exchange is essentially freaking stuff, okay. Okay, so let's go back to Alabama. Stocks, capital gains, tax. Okay, so we're back to here. States either allow taxpayer to deduct their federal taxes, okay, special source tax foundation, state individual income tax rates and brackets for 2020, tax foundation, tax changes effective, values not shown, values shown do not include depreciation recapture taxes. Following states have no state capital gains tax. These states either allow taxpayer to deduct their federal taxes from state taxable income, have local income taxes, or have special tax treatment of capital gains income. This material is for general information and educational purposes only. Information is based on data gathered from what we believe are reliable sources. It is not guaranteed as to accuracy, does not purport to be complete, and is not intended to be used as primary basis for investment decisions. Realize does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance. Okay, good to note. So, if we come back to Alabama, if we click that, where does that lead us to? Additional, okay, so yeah, this comes back to with where we're at. Federal income taxes from their state taxable income allows them to deduct. So does that mean if, as long as you pay the federal taxes, that you don't have to pay the state tax? Give me 1 second. I'm actually going to ask my wife about that. I'll be right back. My wife is taking a nap, so we'll find out later. Alabama allows federal income taxes from their state taxable income. The combined rate accounts for federal, state, and local tax rates on capital gains income. Tax rates on capital gains income, 3% surtax on capital gains, and marginal effect of these limitations. Alright, I am just going to go with the flat 5% for Alabama. We'll start with that. It's better than nothing. So we'll come here and let's do 5%. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to go to, so Connecticut capital gains tax. Make sure that we add this as our source. So sources. Actually, let me insert one above. State capital gains tax. And remove the formatting. And insert a link. That's the link. And this would be Connecticut. And then we need to change this to just Utah. So let me go there. Utah capital gains tax. I have to go to the second page of Google, guys. That does not happen often. capital gains. The table below summarizes the uppermost capital gains tax rates for Utah and neighboring states in 2015, so old data. So that's combined with federal, 5%. Okay, so yeah, I think the data that I had for Utah in here was out of date. So I'm going to trust this website. Yeah, I'm going to trust this website. So looks like we can just count on this to be actually very simple. So, I don't think we have to worry about brackets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over here, and we're just going to do some manual data entry. Or can I actually copy? Because yeah, if I can copy all of this and then come back to here, state tax data, what happens if I, oh, there we go. So yeah, we are going to get, I'm going to get rid of this. And since it's just a flat rate, it doesn't matter what the tax filing status is. So yeah, we're just gonna clear this entire sheet. Start with this. We don't care about the rank, so we can delete that column. The state. Oh, and this is and this is actually really handy. I'll keep these links here. So let me. Oh, I have it still open over here. And let me get this disclaimer as well. And now we're going to format this to make it look pretty. And we don't care about the 2020 tax rates either. Just a very simple table here. Okay. And that means we can come to here, delete rows, and we can delete these rows. What I did there is if you go to the right edge of a column and hover your cursor right over the border of the column header, if you double click, it will automatically adjust the width of the column to fit the data, so you can see all of it. Yeah. And actually, I don't think that, yeah, it didn't like that. So I'll just leave it right that, because yeah, I couldn't see this entire thing here. All right, so state rates 2021, select all of this. We are going to make this look pretty with alternating colors. Very easy to read. And to make sure there's no mistaking this, I'm going to change this background to black and the text to white. Okay, and this would be rate. State rate. Coming back to here. Keep our sources there for now. State of residence. Tax filing status doesn't matter at this point, so we can go to our data validation, remove validation, And so the only thing that needs to be selected is the state of residence, which we can actually now move up to here. And get rid of another row. Boom, make it a bit cleaner. And since it is just a one-to-one relationship, we can also get rid of all of this. And since it's just state, oh yeah, we can make this really easy. I can get rid of this. First I need to unfreeze, delete rows, state of residence, Connecticut, and then delete column, and then this would be the, oh, okay. State of residence, we're moving Connecticut back to down there, moving that there, delete this column, state, and then this would be the rate. Oh, come on. And the rate is equal to it's going to be an index match formula. So we're going to index, and the data we want to get is inside of the state tax data column and tape or sheet, and it is column B, B through B, and then we are going to do a match, and the search key that is going to be used, the search key is the selected state of residence. The range that we're going to search the key for is state tax data, column A through A. And we want an exact match, so we put a 0 there, hit enter, and boom, there it is. Let's check it for accuracy. So Connecticut is selected, 6.99%, state tax data, we find Connecticut, 6.99%. There you go. All right, so now we can get cooking here with this. We can actually plug this into the short-term and long-term sheets now. So let's see. So with the short-term sheet, we have our tax rate. So the tax rate is now more complicated. Because this needs to take into account that's a flat percentage, so because yeah, this piece doesn't work. We can get it to work in the actual piece easily, so actually let's just start with that. So there's the sum of that, but then you also need to add in the sum of this gross formula. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this formula, put it in the tax bracket. Let's see. Oh boy. What to do? Sorry, this tax formula stuff is just really complex, and I gotta think about how to do this properly. Because it's summing all of this together. Summing all of it together. And then it is also going to sum want to grab is state tax bracket. State tax bracket. Let's see, it was just B2, right? B2, yep. State tax bracket B2 multiplied by D5. And so this should be more than it was before. So if I undo this, this should drop. Oh geez. Okay, so yeah, it's more. How much more though? It seems like an appropriate amount more. Oh. Okay, so state taxes are now calculated as part of the actual, so that will be great. And actually, this is so simple. We'll keep it like this for now, and we'll fix it in version 2 to make it a much more user-friendly. We'll just add it to the instructions. So state tax bracket, I'm gonna put Utah because that's where I am. And somebody noted the shares were a lot, so I'm actually going to do this to Adam Aaron's average number of shares. Let's say I just want $1 million. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then, yeah. Okay, so now instructions, I'm going to make this a little bit more friendly language. A little bit more user-friendly. Okay, so 21 tab. So step 1. Actually, this needs to go after setup. Okay, state tax data sources. I can get rid of this. It's not useful. 2021 tax bracket. Long term. That's right. So E5 times E6. Oh, gotcha, because that's just takes into account the percentage there. So yeah, the only other place that the tax formula is used is right here. And yeah, I'm going to need to fix all of this. It's going to be gross. Okay, so let's put a comma here, and let's do state tax bracket multiplied by C14. Okay. Okay, and then we need to reduce some expenses is what it looks like. Oh, yeah, reduce some expenses because the trust has negative money. So initial stock investment, that would be changed to, let's say, like $1,200. Debt payment, let's say, got like just $100,000. Debt savings, let's say you just want to put away another $100,000. Angel investments, just get rid of that. And house, let's just say you want $1 million home. Not a $10 million home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Okay, and then voluntary medical procedures, a Lamborghini, celebration vacation, and a car. Well, oh, that's left over from the instruction video I did. So now if we go to long term, the net dividends is positive, but post expense dividends are too much, so we got to take out some stuff. So property tax, utilities. Oh, that's on a yearly basis. So let's go to a month basis. So yeah, with stuff like this, yeah, we gotta to make this look realistic, we've just got to increase the minimum or the actual that would need to be sold at for 120 shares. So let's just increase the number of shares. Then let's just say 500 shares. There we go. Now we're positive again. And actually, that was a bit too much, so make it a bit more reachable for most people. 250 shares, let's assume that. Still positive. Let's bring it down to 200 shares. Okay, yeah, that's gonna look a lot more reasonable to most people, so. All right, so yeah, state taxes are now included inside of inside of this sheet. So let's let everybody know the good news. Yeah, let's let everybody know the good news. So let's send out a tweet. I'll send out a tweet from my from the Marble Fox Studios account. Let's tweet. Let's get the sharing link. Okay, get link, copy link. Management, Powersheet has been updated to version 1.5. Now includes detailed setup instructions for desktop and mobile, and and factors in state capital gains tax. Factors in state capital gains tax. You need to select your state, follow the instructions. Happy planning. Okay. And let's retweet that out of my personal account. Version 2, here we come. All right. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's begin working on version 2. And before we get started on version 2, I am going to stand up for like a minute, get my standpoint for the hour, and I'll be right back. All right, I got my standpoint. Let's get started on version 2 of this. And version 2 is just going to be simply amazing because it's going to make it super, super easy to use. And we're going to add a whole bunch of new features. So we're going to add multi-asset profit tracking. Portfolio manager integration will be version 3. So let me move that to the bottom. Can I just, nope. Okay, I think I can just drag it. That's nice, okay. So version 3, multi-asset profit tracking, term position toggle. So this is all the stuff that's done. State tax calculator is done. Alright, so multi-asset profit tracking, term position toggle. This is actually going to be really hard. Debt snowball calculator. And multi-trust, anything multi is going to be really hard. Budget planner integration, that's also going to be version 3. So yeah, this is the order of new features that we're going to add. But the first thing that we're going to do is revamp the user interface so that it's just much easier to use, make it so that there's going to be a lot less clutter. Let's get going. So I'm going to make a copy, and I'm just going to call this wealth management. It'd probably be easier for me to start from scratch, actually, and just use what we have as a template. So let me clear out my trash. Go to my drive. Let's, wait, is this my personal? Welcome at marvelfoxstudios.com. No, this is my, oh, gotcha, okay. So, Google Sheets. And this is just going to be the wealth management Powersheet. Wealth management. All right. And so how we want to do this, oh boy. Okay, so we want to be able to track capital, or to track profits for multiple assets. I'm just thinking about how we're going to do that. Multiple asset tracking. No, won't worry about it. Just take what we have now, improve the user interface. That's what we're going to do. So in order to do that, if we come to the short-term sheet here, there's really only 3 things. Three things that the user controls, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that the user controls inside the capital. Because okay, so the key points that we want is the user wants to see the sell price for you, for others, and the actual. So that's going to be important. Let me just copy this. Oh. No, I just want to, oh, I was clicking the wrong thing. Okay, so how do we clean this up? Essentially, this capital calculator, we'll call this capital calculator. That's what we'll call it. Capital calculator. And we're going to have a dashboard. The dashboard will have all the cleaned up stuff that people care about, and filter out everything else, and everything else will just be part of the capital calculator. So, so on the dashboard, we are going to have a bunch of different, so we're going to have capital And under capital, we are going to have how much money do you want for yourself? How much money do you want for yourself? How many shares do you have? Or do you plan to have? How many shares do you plan to have? And yeah, we'll start with that. Very simple. So how much money do you want to have for yourself? Let's say $1 million. And how many shares do you plan to have? 200. So now, and let's format that as currency. Format this as just a plain number. That'll work. And now in the calculator, we're going to change the min for you to equal dashboard this, whatever's there. And then the shares will now be a formula as well, and it will just point to whatever that is. So that way, nobody has to mess with the calculator. Yep, and now we can change this to gray. And what's your expected tax rate? And what state do you live in? And what state do you live in will be, if we go to the, yep, I just want to copy this, and I can copy it to a different, to this sheet. Oh, no. Okay. Comma, separated list of states. Let's grab this. And we want to go to data, data validation, list of items, all of that. Save. And we will need to grab the state tax data. I want to copy to an existing spreadsheet. Let's copy this to wealth management. And there it is. And this will just be state tax. And it's a utility sheet. Cap calc. State tax is just all of this. And so what I want to do is I want to make a comparison of, I want to, what's it called? I want to split. This is the text that I want to split. The delimiter is a comma space. And I want to transpose it. I want to transpose the result. Okay. So we don't need American Samoa. We don't need the District of Columbia. Oh, okay. So now, just got to take this, copy and paste the values, Alabama, Alaska, and take all of that Delaware, take Florida down, bring it up to this, Georgia, there, cut, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois has a weird thing there, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky. Wait, what am I doing? I know how to do this. Because the only options that we want are what's available here. Let's copy, paste, and just remove the links. That didn't work though. I'm thinking now, I can just delete that, and here inside the dashboard, I can change the data validation from this static list of items to list for a range, and the range that we're going to get is this. Oh, okay, so that's the range that I want, and the range that we're applying this to is that. This criteria, list from a range. Hit OK. That is a valid range. Is there a reason why it's not? Saving it. It didn't save the changes. Why, oh why? Data validation. List of items, list from a range. There we go, that should have worked. Perfect, there we go. Awesome, and now with that, we can take this disclaimer, add it here. And let's wrap this text. Yeah, we'll just keep it like that for now. Yeah, that's fine. What state do you live in? And the state that's lived in will determine our state. It will determine the state tax. Because we are going to just assume that the tax rate, this is the tricky thing though, is this tax rate can't be, because the gross profit is determined by the tax rate, and it's hard to work backwards on the tax rate. So essentially we'll just assume the maximum, so that way people are overestimating instead of underestimating how many taxes they pay. So we'll just do the flat 37%, and we'll add in the taxes for them. So we will do 0.37 multiplied, because this is now going to be, remove the formatting there, this is going to be a formula where we take the sum of Yeah, it would just be the sum of both the tax rates. Right? I'm trying to think here. Because let's say I have $10 and the federal government taxes me at 1%, they would take $1. If the state government also taxes me at 1%, they would also take $1. Now if I add the percentages together, or I should say 10% and 10% each to make that right. So, and if I add those two together, 10% plus 10% equals 20%. 20% of $10 is $2. So yeah, that does check out. We can add, we can sum the percentages. So sum of 0.37, and the second value is going to be an index match. Index. And what we want to get is the state tax, state tax B2 through B, state tax B2 through B. And if there's no space in the name of a sheet, you don't need to have the single quotes around it. Match. And what we want to, the search key we want would be dashboard B4, dashboard B4, and the range to search for would be state tax A2 through A, and we want an exact match. Okay, perfect. And now that is a formula, so we can lock that down. Capital calculator. Okay. Jeez, that's so much in taxes, it's ridiculous. But when you're talking large amounts of money, that's what you're looking at. So, but another question we would need to ask from the user would be how long have you hodled for? And this, we want a binary. So we want data validation. So they can only pick specific stuff. Instead of a list or range, we want a list of items. And we want so have you hodled for more than 1 year? And now this can just be yes, no. Actually, even better, it can just be a checkbox instead of data validation. So insert checkbox. Okay. Have you hodled for more than 1 year? What state do you live in? Because, yeah, depending on how long you've held for is going to affect your capital gains tax. Because if you've held for less than a year, it's going to be 37% at the high end because it's part of income tax. But if you've held for more than 1 year, you get actual federal capital gains, which at the moment is 20%. So we need to factor that in to our tax calculator. So we need to make this an if statement. So if if dashboard B4 dashboard before is equal to true, then for more than a year, then it's just 20%. Otherwise, it is 0.37 is what you're looking at. So that says 42, but if we check it, 25. Perfect. What state do you live in? Alabama. And okay, so that takes care of the target for you. How much? What do I need to sell at to take care of myself? And that would just be equal to cap calc B3. And this is a formula, so we'll gray that out. What do I need to sell at to take care of myself? And now we need to factor in stuff for others. And to do that, we're going to come to back to the short-term sheet. So we want to list all the categories. List all the categories of because this is asking a user to define a list. Actually, we'll make this even more simple for now. So, how much money do you want to set aside for each parent? Do you want to include, or how many parents do you have? Oh, come on. Because how many parents do you have? Like, obvious answers. The obvious answer is 2, but I mean, you've got to take into account like your in-laws, if you've got biological parents, as well as like step parents that you want to take care of. There can be. I think we're probably getting into the weeds here. So this needs to be this part needs to be more dynamic. It can't just be a question. Okay. So what we can do here is so stuff for the self. That's what we want to focus on. So what one-time purchases do you want to make per fill out one-time purchases. And so we will make a new table or a new sheet called one-time purchases, or one-time expenses. One-time expenses. And the one-time expenses is literally just this right here. So recipient category, so recipient and amount. We'll just start with that. So expense, or item, and amount. Simple table, be very easy. Item, amount, because this will automatically be assumed for the self. So let's grab some examples. Lambo. And let's grab these. Oh, okay. We need to unmerge. Oh, merge anyway. No. Okay, I need to go through each one and deselect. There we go. Can get rid of this again. Item, amount, and we'll worry about making it pretty later. So fill out one-time purchases. Because this is the order of this is the workflow that we're doing right now. So fill out one-time purchases or one-time expenses. And the one-time expenses is just going to be all of that. And then what do we do with that? Take that and whatever is left over for the self. First we need to fill out the, okay. Okay, no, we do want them to fill this out first with the share category, because everything here is dependent on the actual column, and the actual column relies on the target for others, and this can't get populated until this gets populated, and then this table gets populated as well. So I guess the first thing I need to do is who do you want to donate to? That's going to be the next thing. So fill out donations. Fill out donations table, and we're going to call this donations. And this one is going to have a category. And the category we'll put here. Category item or recipient, since we're talking about donations, and amount. So now let's come to our example so people can kind of go off what we had. Okay, we got that. Now, got this. Rows, and then the amounts. Well, so the amounts are going to be automatically filled, but they do need to fill out the category and the recipient. That's what they need to fill out first, so we can get a count of how many categories there are and how many recipients are in each category. That's what we need to figure out first. So fill out the donations table, and then what we would need to do is categories. So for each category, we just want a unique list of all the categories, unique rows in the provided source range, and the range is donations A2 through A. Boom! There we go. Let's fill out the donations table. So now we have categories, or category. And if we come back to this, the short term, and what's the maximum amount you want to give to each recipient? And if we come back to this, just copy this over. That's the maximum amount you want to give to each recipient. And this actually isn't important for the dashboard. This is just important for setting things up. So we're going to create a new sheet. We're going to call this the donation calculator, or DonCalc. Yeah, so we have CapCalc, DonCalc, donations, dashboard. Okay, so if we, oh, come on. This was donations A2 through A. And it's the maximum amount you want to give to each recipient. Let's just call this max amount per recipient in the category. It's a bit of a shorter thing. And the donation calculator, so they would fill this out. Part of the donation calculator though, oh, where am I going? For you plus leftover, this row needs to become a part of the CapCalc. Okay. Because I think it's this amount that gets used here, so I need to look for F20 somewhere in here. is F20 in here? There it is. Okay. Because, yeah, that goes off of the actual. Okay. I'm seeing how this all flows together now. So now that we have all of this, essentially we need to copy this over. To the other sheet. Max for category. Yeah. All right, max for each, max for category. Okay. Yep. And the max for the category is literally okay. Number of recipients. Okay, we're good. So number of recipients, how we calculate this is we would go to, we would do a count if formula, conditional count across a range, and the range that we want. Come on, why doesn't it do that? I want to count if. Okay, here we go. So count if, and the range that we want to search for. Okay. We want to search this range, donations A2 through A, and the criterion we want to check it against is if it is equal to, if it's equal to this. How do we reference, reference cell? So I want to go to count if, hold on, there's an easier way to do this. I can go to learn more. I'll pull up a handy helper here. Who did that? I think it uses an ampersand. Yes, this is what I want. Okay, so you put an ampersand to signify you want to have it point to a cell, A2. And number of recipients is just a number. Format, number, automatic. Well, that didn't work. Oh, okay, gotcha. A2 needs to be outside, so equal to and A2. There we go. So that's autofilled now. A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7. So now we have the number of recipients. The maximum for each category would be, it would take this multiplied by that. Easy. Let's see if that worked. Because this should just match what we have on here. 4,200,000, perfect. Okay, now a percent share. What was percent share here? Okay, so it takes D14 divided by the max for others, and the max for others is just the sum of all of that. Okay, that's easy to figure out. Okay, so the percent share is equal to the maximum for the category divided by, oh wait, hold on. First, let's check to see if we even need those. Okay. Okay, so max for category uses all that. Percent share, but percent share is used for that, and what's amount used for? An amount is used in for each, and then that just uses that. That uses that. That uses that. Uses that. Uses that. Uses that. C4. And then if I'm divided by C4, so amount for each and percent share. So we don't need an, oh, we do want that though. Okay, so that's the max and that's the actual amount. Okay. Because I use the actual amount, and then I don't think the for each is used for, or is it? Amount. Okay, so amount is definitely used, so we need the percent share, we need the amount, we don't need the for each though. Okay. So we don't need the for each, so we can delete and get rid of that. And now the percent share is equal to the maximum for the category, which the maximum for the, yeah, so it's equal to the maximum for the category divided by the sum of all of this. D2 through D, because who knows how much stuff there's going to be. So that's the percent share, and we actually want to lock D2 through D. If we drag it down, we want to lock the column. So now if we just drag it down, it automatically applies the percent share. And then the amount is just equal to the amount uses the actual for others, which we have not gotten to yet because we need this in order to calculate the actual. Oh boy. Okay, let me check the chat, Discord, and Twitter for any messages that I have and want to make sure I don't miss anything. Eight notifications. Okay, cool. Oh boy. Okay, so we have the share, and now that we have the share the percent share, we can calculate. We can actually calculate the target for others now on our sheet. So if we go back to the cap calc, the target for others is equal to the sum of Don calc, that, and it needs to be through D, through the entire thing, and this is equal to B9, and this is equal to B8 plus B10, D5 times D6, because that's just going to be the same, and because the gross profit is calculated by that number of shares that are had, and then, okay. And then this information is handy to have on the dashboard. What do I need to sell? And we can get rid of this. What do I need to sell at to take care of others? And that is very simply equal to that. And that is a formula, so we signify that by graying it out. Okay. All right, so now that we know that, now we can ask, what do you plan to actually sell at? And this is just manually defined right here. Let's say 100K, $100,000. And how many shares do you actually have? Let's say 200. Cool. And that needs to be formatted as an automatic number. Is that automatic as well? Yes, great. Okay. How many shares do you actually have? And now that we have, and so now we can plug those in. So this is now equal to that. And this is now equal to that. These two in our formulas. So we have entirely formulated this entire table, which is great. Because that means that the user never has to see this sheet. It's amazing. So now the tax rate calculated as part of the taxes. And so now we need to copy over the 2021 tax bracket sheet, copy to an existing spreadsheet, the one we're working with right now, select, sheet copied successfully, move up to wealth management, there it is, and I'm going to rename this to Fed taxes. Okay. So now if we go back to our cap calc, so yeah, this is gross. I was hoping there would be an easier way to actually D5, no, it can't be D5, it has to be, it's still 5, but it's now C5. So easy way to do this is I can take this and I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. And let me move this so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to open scratch.txt, paste it in here. And now what I can do is, this is a really cool program where I can just select all the D5s and very quickly change them all to C5. And copy that and paste it back into here. Cool. So now the reason why it's getting a reference error is because it doesn't know what the 2121 tax bracket is, because we renamed it to Fed taxes. So I'll actually come back to here, and we will replace anything where it says 2021 tax bracket, select all, and replace it with Fed taxes. much cleaner. Let's hit enter. And now, unresolved sheet name state tax bracket, because it doesn't exist. And the state tax bracket, A2 through C5. Oh, because it's not tax bracket anymore, it's just state tax. State tax. So now value. Function multiply parameter 1 expects number values, but Alabama star is a text and cannot be coerced to a number. Ah. Yes. That would make sense. So here, so we need to do a little switcheroo here. States in there. Okay, all right. Wait, hold on. State tax A2 times C5. Oh, because it's not state tax, I need to do an index match. Yeah, I need to do an index match here. So let me command option, move that down, and I need to do an index, and what we want to grab is state tax B2 through B, which contains the actual tax rates, and we want to match it with the search key, and the search key is dashboard B4, and the range we want to search for it in is inside of state tax A2 through A, and we want an exact match. Close that, and there we go, it works. Cool. And then net profit, min for you, min for others. Okay, capital calculator is up and running. Delete. And we can get rid of this now. Okie dokie. Can shift that up. Cap calc, Don calc. So now that we have this completely working, now we can calculate the amount on the donation calculator. So let's come back to the short term. The amount here is the maximum for others that's been found, and it's multiplied by the percent share. So we go to the cap calc, the actual maximum for others that we find, and we multiply it by the percent share. We drag that down. Oh, this always needs to stay the same, so we're going to lock the cell by putting $signs by each of those, and now we can autofill. Cool. So now that we have the amount, the actual amount per recipient, we can go to the donations and fill that in. So we have the amount, and this would be equal to an index match. what we want what we want to grab comes from the donation calculator, and it comes from the amount, and we take off that last number to select the entire column, hit a comma, and then we're going to do a match, and the search key we're looking for is the category, and we are going to compare that to a range, and we're going back to the donations, and we're selecting the category, but we want the entire column, so we get rid of that 22 at the end there. And then we want an exact match, which is a 0. And then we close off the parentheses, hit enter. Suggested autofill, it says not applicable for those, so let's see why. What's changing? DonCalc, A2, okay, so there we are. Oh, DonCalc A2. Oh, so here's something, the F3 through F, we want to lock this. So we want to, what we want to grab is going to be locked, F2 through F. And then the donation calculator, well, we're searching, oh, it's not DonCalc A2, it's just A2. That's what we want to match it. That's the search key. And then what we want to match it to is the donation calculator, A2 through A, which I think should be the categories. Yep. There we go. So now if we drag this, and because we want to search the same range, we don't want to make sure it always starts at A2 through A. We want to lock that as well. The only thing that's changing is the category on the left here. So now if we select this and drag it down, boom, there you go. Okay, and since that is a formulaic value, I'm going to make that gray. Yeah, this can be changed at desire. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Eventually I want to make it so that if you want to give a specific recipient less money that's not equal to the others in their category, we'll do that. Let me add that to the to-do list though. The to-do list, term position toggle, we have that. Oh, that's, let me add something to this, to the to-do list before I forget though. So what we are adding to the to-do list is ability to define donation recipient amount as a custom number. That's what we want. Okay, term position toggle is done, but that reminds me that inside of our cap calculator, so yeah, we need to consider this and consider it into the calculated taxes here. Because if this giant if statement, where it's just that. these rows have extra. Actually, move this down. If dashboard B3 is true, then this, so yeah, we still want a total sum of everything. So this needs to be embedded inside the sum here. Okay, so if the dashboard B3 is equal to true, just use 0.2. Otherwise, we want to use all of this. We want to use a sum of all of this. Okay, so we have the sum if let's make this super readable. Okay, so with the amounts that we're dealing with here, if this is checked, then this total amount of taxes should go down. And it did. Just a straight, like, flat 20% plus hold on. Why are we getting a 20 cents there? Because 20% of, let me pull out a calculator. That is a calendar. Oh, calculator, there we go. Okay, so if we have 20 million, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 million multiplied by 20% is equal to did I do that right? 1 million, or 20 million, 20 million, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiplied by 20% is 4 million. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so this should actually be higher than 1 million. Where's it getting 1 million from? If dashboard B3 is equal to true. Oh, I need to multiply this by C4. There we go. Because the 1 million is, so let's check our math now. So C4 is 20 million, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we multiply that by 20%, we have 4 million. And so we need 1 million from the state taxes at this point. And so this would be 20 million, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we go to the selected state, which is Alabama, and the state tax of Alabama is 5%, we're going to multiply this by 0.05 for 5%. That gives us 1 million. Okay, so our math is correct. Great. This is awesome. And so now if we turn that check back off, then it runs it through the federal income tax, and it's a bit higher, which is expected. So that is working properly now. Okay. So I want to make sure that I'm pretty sure that oh, because we don't have the toggle in version 1.5. This is version 2. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. I gotta get a stand point for the hour. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we're back. Okay, so CapCalc is done. Donation calculator is done. We don't need any more columns, but we do want them to be able to add as many rows as they need to. So we'll just leave that as is for now. State tax is good. Hello, what's this? I don't know where that data validation came from. Let's remove that. Fed taxes looks good. Donations looks good now. Dashboard. So in between here, we want to add, fill out categories and recipients on donations tab. Alright, and since I cut those, okay, everything looks like it's still calculating properly. Let's see. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Open widget. Stream status is poor. Give me... Analytics, stream settings. Stream status is poor. Alright, so it looks like we've been having poor connection for the past little bit, just like the past 20 minutes maybe. Yeah, we've got an issue. There is an update that I need. I'll just type this out. All right, everyone.